Hello, my name is Emily, and today I'm going to talk to you about the effects of teen drivers on our society. I believe it's an important topic that many people ignore, and it has affected everyone. First off, I would like to say that one of the most exciting times in a teenager's life is when they get their driver's license, and it's the first time you'll be able to ditch the rides from your parents, hang out with your friends more, and overall have more freedom. But according to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, road crashes are the single biggest killer of between 15 and 24-year-olds. Most of these crashes that occur are due to the lack of experience in new drivers, the lifestyles that they live, and the emotional and physical maturity level that have increased these risks. All of these incidents that are happening not only affect the young teenagers on the road, but also the safety of everyone else on the road, including the families that have lost loved ones. So, basically, I've done a little bit of research, and actually, I've done a lot of research, and I've looked for images and just things that I could show you so you can see some pictures of some accidents that have happened from teenagers not paying attention and when they're on the road. So I found this first one that looks pretty bad. And then this is another one of a car that crashed into a tree, it looks like. And then I found this one as well. This is probably a good example of a teenager that most likely had other teenagers in the car, and they were probably not paying attention, and he drove over the ledge when he was trying to park. So, that being said, according to the Journal of the American Medical Association, researchers have found that toughening the licensing laws have led to approximately 1,300 fewer car crashes involving 16-year-olds. That being said, what do you think that we could do to make the lives of young teenagers and other people safer? Well, there are many, many things that we could do. Even though many changes could lead to a heavy financial burden on society, it would be far less expensive than paying for the expenses that occur from car crashes. And according to a recent article I read on an online policy brief, in the US alone, crashes involving 15 to 18-year-olds have costed an estimated $40 billion in 2002. That is a huge number, and this is something vital that needs to be done. So, basically, the first thing I would say that needs to be done is changing the licensing system. This means making the licensing process much more rigorous, starting with the age to obtain a permit. The soonest that you can get a permit is 15 and a half. Seems young, right? So that being said, the state should raise the age to 17. More regulations should be enforced, such as lengthening the permitting times, making driver's ed requirements and rules much stricter, such as restricting teenagers from driving late at night. Due to the amount of crashes that occur late at night after parties, has become a huge, huge problem. So, according to a recent policy brief, it states that young drivers have higher number of crashes when driving at night and on weekends when carrying young passengers. Why is this happening? Well, there are four main reasons why this is happening. First off would be an excessive amount of speeding that's happening. Driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, not paying attention to the road due to distractions in the car or outside of the car, and not wearing a seatbelt. So, basically, when I have been driving, I have noticed a lot of teenagers on the road that are on their phone. They're trying to drive with one hand on the steering wheel, changing their radio station, and they have like 3 other kids in the back seat screaming, singing, distracting them while they're driving. That is a huge issue, is the distractions while they're driving. So, basically, teenagers should not be able to drive with other teens in the car. Driving after 8 p.m. Should be restricted until they have obtained a license for at least 8 months. High school should make it mandatory for teenagers to take driver's ed courses while they are in their freshman and sophomore year of high school, just so they can get the extra training that they need. Age is the most important factor contributed to these fatal crashes because teens are still emotionally and physically immature. As a teenager, I remember in high school, everyone wanted to be accepted. There's tons of peer pressure. Everyone's, trying to do whatever they can do to be cool. And so I remember growing up, when people were getting their license at 16, I didn't get my license till 17 or 18, but I remember when everyone was getting their license before me, there was a lot of car crashes happening, and I never understood why. Until I got a little bit older and mature, and I realized the different factors and why all this stuff was happening. So, that being said, teenagers go through a acceptance stage where I believe is the wrong time to let them take on the biggest responsibility of driving a car. There are many people that disagree with this idea, according to some articles that I've read. They don't believe that we should raise the age of driving because they have stated that it's due to them being unexperienced. They believe that 16 to 17-year-olds that are getting into accidents now, if we were to change the licensing age to 17, then 17 to 19-year-olds would be getting in the same amount of accidents. This is clearly false because high numbers of accidents that are happening are due to the maturity and the responsibility levels of teens. During this age in young teenagers' lives, they're experiencing the first years of partying. Most likely they're drinking, but by having some regulations on the licensing system, it would basically give parents more time to teach their teens responsibility before they obtain a license, giving them more time to make mistakes and to learn from their mistakes before taking on the responsibility as a new driver. It would be good for young teens to look as getting their license as a privilege when they become more mature. But overall, if we were to raise the age of driving, it would reduce the amount of accidents, it would reduce the amount of congestion, overcrowding on the roads, as well as a reduction in car insurance. So I'm sure if there's less accidents on the road, our car insurance would go down, and basically less money would be spent on the social costs of highway accidents. So that is my policy speech. I hope everyone enjoyed it and understood a little bit of what I spoke about, and I hope that people have gotten a better understanding of why there's so many accidents on the road, and hopefully the state of California will come up with a way to prevent some of these accidents.